I hope that you guys enjoy. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. Okay.
Hello and welcome to AMASV Podcast Episode 7. My name is Vianney Strick and I am the Vice President of Volunteers and Records at AMASV. Today's topic is influencer marketing featuring beauty influencer Vianney Strick. Hi, Vianney.
Hi, Hannety. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. So Vianney started posting beauty content to YouTube 5 years ago, and in recent years, Vianney has expanded to Instagram and TikTok, where she attracts an audience of over 20,000 people on social media and over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Vianney also holds a bachelor's degree in mass communication and electronic media for broadcast with a minor in theater. Thank you for joining me, Vianney. I'm looking forward to hearing your insights on your experience as an influencer on YouTube and across social media.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. I think that influencer media is taking over, so I'm always so excited to talk about all the ins and out of it.
Yeah, it's super huge right now.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you to describe your journey on YouTube as a creator from your very first video up to today.
So my very first video I actually posted 5 years ago now. It was actually the summer, right before my senior year of college. I finally had the time. I've always had the passion for makeup, and as you noticed, and as you mentioned, I actually did study broadcasting. So I really liked the combination of two of my passions. And so I finally decided to pick up a camera, film a video, and I really got such overwhelming positive response, not just from people that I know, but also just from subscribers on YouTube. And so I ended up making videos. Once I got back into college, it was obviously a little bit harder to handle with, being a full-time student and also working. And so I figured it out. I graduated college, and that was really when I decided to take this more hobby and passion and make it a business, and the rest is history. Now we're here.
I love to hear about your career journey and see your success and your amazing following. So if I can ask you, what inspired you to continue creating content, posting to your YouTube channel?
What inspired me was definitely, like I mentioned, the response. Once something is taken the way you meant to give it to a consumer, that is honestly the best inspiration for me, just getting so much amazing feedback. But I will say that's what inspired me, but what drove me to do it was more discipline and just knowing that it was something that I loved, which is also a combination of discipline and passion. And so once I combined all of that and started going well, I realized how much love I have for it. And at the end of the day, truly thinking whether I make money or not, I don't think I could ever just stop making YouTube videos. I genuinely love doing that. And so it's amazing that I can call this my job, and that has to be the biggest inspiration of all, is that I truly love what I do.
Yeah, they say do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And it's even better
Exactly.
if you're, making money from it and turning it into a career for yourself. And as a marketer, I also feel passionate about what I do. So I'm really excited that you were able to continue to do what you love, and you're actually seeing your growth progress over the years and your following expand. So congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. It's really heartwarming, and it's such a positive space to be in. I understand that sometimes the internet can be very negative, but it really does come down to the community that you build and the platform. And I've actually had a really great experience so far. So it's really hard to let go, and it's just what I do, and I love doing what I do.
Absolutely. So tell me about creating a content for a specific audience or niche. What are the challenges of creating consistent content that caters to most of all of your audience for each piece of content posted?
So, my niche is definitely beauty. That's my number one thing. That's the main reason why people follow me. And so because that is my niche, I really do have to focus on making content. Depending on the trends, depending on what new products are out, my sub niche is reviews. And so I like to create content that will save people money or influence people to buy products that will be worth their money. And so, it has definitely been a thought process over the years, because beauty can be such like a complex niche as well. And so I always try to follow what is trending, but without getting too far away of like what is actually genuine to me. Because at the end of the day, I personally believe that to avoid burnout, as especially as a content creator, is to don't stop doing videos that you also enjoy, not just that are trendy. And so I try to navigate my way through the niche in the best way that I can, so that I'm still putting out like genuine content that is true to myself, but it is also something that people like to watch and the things that are people are actually searching for. And so I will say, speaking of like marketing, I think the best person to study is yourself. I am actually a consumer of YouTube as well. And so sometimes I'll just study myself and think, well, what am I searching for? What kind of videos do I want to see? And that also helps me with the content that I'm putting out in like the specific niche of my channel.
Yeah, those are two great insights. Burnout is one huge thing, and having an outside perspective on content. I also do the same thing where if I'm consuming content, whether on social media or YouTube, I always think about how I'm seeing it as a consumer, as you mentioned, and I feel like it really
Mhm.
makes a difference from when you're
Right.
doing it personally and when you see it from the outside, and how sometimes you can even see how to improve your content, I guess, from
Right.
seeing other people's content.
And how to grow, because obviously you are going to have an amazing community that loves you and they'll literally watch whatever you put out, and like that's amazing. But if you do want to grow and you want new followers or new watchers to actually subscribe, you do have to kind of start being a little bit more diverse with your content. And so I always keep in mind that I want to make content for myself, for my like my community, and also for new people that might want to join the community, the squad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and at one point in your tenure on YouTube, did you learn about investing in tools to help you develop your content? And was it trial and error?
For sure. I think as your social media changes, obviously things are going to be very different from the beginning when you're first starting out. I think the number one tools that I started investing was actually in equipment, because I understand that people like to watch me, but I also understand that, especially me as a watcher, I also like to watch something that is well produced, something that looks nice, something that sounds nice. And so I started investing my time into educating myself in all of the technological things, and also just putting back what I earned into equipment. And then once I kind of figured that out to the best of my abilities, I also did start outsourcing different things like applications to like edit my videos, or websites that help me understand my analytics even better, or also websites that kind of help you with sponsorships and stuff like that. And so there's just so many different tools that you can go to, but I will say my number one tool for YouTube is YouTube. YouTube how to YouTube. That's literally what I did. I YouTube how to YouTube, and the platform that I'm on right now taught me everything I know. So I think that that's like so underrated.
So that's a great tip about putting your funds that you earn from creating your content back into yourself and investing in yourself to be able to grow, as you mentioned. Regarding the websites that you reference to help you create your content, have you ever considered creating a portfolio that you could sort of use to advertise yourself so that maybe other brands could see who you are, or like to feature your previous work? Um, as a marketer and an early career marketer, I am working on a portfolio to advertise myself and my work, and show like all of my accomplishments to date. So I'm curious if you know of influencers who do that sort of thing, or if you've considered it.
Absolutely. I think I the way that I deal with like making business definitely differs depending on, if brands reach out to me, usually after we're past the point of deciding what the video will be about and things like that, then they ask me for my budget, and or I ask them for their campaign budget for me, and then we start talking details. Now, if I'm reaching out to a company myself, that's when I start kind of putting in a little bit of a resume to, obviously sell myself and show like what I can do. And I do like to grab a couple videos from my channel to just truly show like what I can do. And so I think that's very like smart to do. And something else that I also do when we're talking about like websites, there are different websites that you can sign up for so that companies know that you're an influencer and they know that you want to work with companies, and they show like all your analytics. And like one of them is Octoly. That's actually a platform that will give influencers products in exchange of reviews, but you do have to get approved for them. There's a lot of different websites like that. And so at the beginning of my channel, when I was still growing and companies didn't really know me, that's how I put myself out there and kind of put myself out there for companies to find me. I will say now, after all these years, thankfully I can say that I do have companies reach out to me, which makes things a little bit easier. But that's definitely a tool that I think newer creators should definitely take advantage of.
Yeah, that's some great insight that I wasn't aware of. Tell me about reaching out to companies, because I personally didn't know that influencers reached out to companies. I thought companies only reached out to influencers.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? And the worst thing that a company can say is no or just not respond. And so I personally have gotten in PR list or have started relationships with companies by a simple email. The best way to do it is to try to find their PR email, or just because obviously when you're sending out to a company in like a customer service, they're going to think that you're just like a customer of whatever product they're selling. So I do try to find like their business email. And if it's out in the public, like why not? And so that's whenever I will email them. I will say, hi, my name is Vianney Strick. This is the amount of followers that I have. These are the platforms I'm on. Here are some sample videos. Let me know if you would like to create a relationship. And like I mentioned, the worst thing they can say is no. And of course, I have been shot down many times, but I've also been welcomed many times. And so I think as a new creator, like, don't be afraid to reach out. They don't know who you are. There are so many people. It is so saturated that you do have to kind of make yourself known. And that is one way to do it.
Yeah, that's another rule of business is never quit if you want to be successful.
Absolutely. You can't.
Yeah. So describe your journey to develop your look, which makes your content stand out among that of other creators, and how you established your brand over time.
I think my look or my brand is truly just like an elevated version of who I am as a person. I have always really been attracted to channels that are more just on the personable side. Like I'm never one to be somebody else on camera. Like I truly am who I am on camera and off camera. But like I mentioned before, I also know that people do want to see something that is nice, clean, crisp, aesthetic, good lighting, and things like that. And so I went for more of a studio look when I first started. And over the years, I realized I wanted something a little bit more homey. So then I created like a homey studio. And also with the look, it's also how you edit and the graphics that you use. And it has evolved over the years. Like I'll never hate the way that I used to do things before, because I can look back at my channel and I think I'm starting to finally have like different eras of my channel. And I think that as I grow and evolve in front of the camera, my subscribers are also growing and evolving with me. And so that's kind of what I try to keep in the back of my mind when I'm starting to like change things about the look or the aesthetic. But like I mentioned, at the end of the day, my aesthetic is just me, maybe with just some more pizzazz.
Yeah, that's interesting about the different settings that you've established over time for your video backgrounds. I would imagine that if you go back through your channel, you can see like your development over time. And
Mhm.
curious if you could see like what worked and what didn't. I know you said that you don't regret anything that you used in your content previously, but have you learned anything from the evolvement of your background settings?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned, I don't regret it because we're here now and everything's fine. But I think that if there's anything that maybe that I would do differently if I had to, I think the times that I try to present myself as someone that I'm not are the things that I would change. Obviously, when you're on camera, it's a little, I don't know, you're kind of hesitant to either be yourself or to be more outspoken or maybe less outspoken. There's times where I used to literally edit out any quirks about me because I didn't know if I wanted to be like extra presentable or be extra funny or things like that. So really it just, I don't know, when I look back, I can see the videos that maybe I tried way too hard to look like my favorite YouTuber, to use a background similar to them because I think that that's what people want. Or if I'm never not acting like myself, but sometimes I have reserved myself. And so anything that I would change is just not something that's just not as genuine. And so now what I have going on, I have gotten good feedback. People tell me that they feel like my background is nice and homey, like they're just hanging out with a friend. And so really it's just about staying true to myself, but also looking back at what people are saying that are watching the video. And it seems like I found like a good sweet spot.
Yeah, that's amazing that, you had this idea in mind and to have that be reflected in your audience's responses must be really rewarding, and I really like that.
It is. After so much work, trial and error, it feels good to be in like a really great spot. And I'm really, really lucky for the people that do watch me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in a fast-changing landscape of influencer marketing, how do you navigate pivoting your content to adapt to a growing audience, and how have you pivoted your content in the past?
So, you never know unless you try, and not everything that you try is going to work out. And so I have tried different things. Like I mentioned, my niche is definitely beauty, but I like to throw in some lifestyle videos, some vlogs, some travel vlogs. And at first I noticed that the views and engagement that I would get in my beauty videos were definitely not the same in my travel vlog videos because that's not what people are subscribed to me for. And so that obviously gives me like the feedback that most people are maybe not going to like that as much. And so I have been trying to find again another sweet spot of putting content that I know people will enjoy, but also putting content that I enjoy. And so when I do put more personal videos, I honestly don't care anymore about the views because I know that the people that did watch it are the people that just care more about my personal life. And not everyone has to care about my personal life, and that's okay. And so I am putting things without thinking too much about the views. But when it does come to the niche and the views, when we're talking about beauty, the things that I try to change in my videos is with the trends. So, TikTok is very popular. So how can I involve TikTok on YouTube? I'll do a video about all the TikTok hacks that you see in 15 seconds, and I'll tell you if they actually work or not. Tutorials, people are not watching them as much anymore. I still post them sometimes, but people want to see reviews. And so I spend my money on the products to make sure that you don't waste your money. And so that's kind of the way that I change up my content within the niche of beauty. And that's also the way that I've tried other things. And just see if they work, see if they stick. And if they don't, it's okay. My feelings are not going to be hurt.
Yeah, and I bet that's a good way to understand your audience as well.
Exactly. You just kind of put it out in the water and see if they like it or not, and kind of just go from there. But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, absolutely. That's correct. Another rule of business.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, you're super good at what you do. So,
Thank you. Thank
talking
you.
to you about this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, what does brand integrity mean to you as an entrepreneur in the influencer marketing industry?
Um, it's everything to me. Truly, truly, I think that at the end of the day, integrity is number one for me, especially with what I'm doing because I'm influencing people with their money. When it comes to reviews of products, like the a lot of people spend their money because of me. They're waiting for my review, and so I I take my credibility very like it's my priority. Credibility is truly my priority, and so that's something that I'll never give up. And that's also something that I always have in the back of my head when I'm working with companies, with sponsorships, because I never want to put my name or my likeness on anything that I don't believe in. I would hate for a subscriber to feel fooled by me. Obviously, not everybody's going to like the exact same things, but I really just try to keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, you can have a lot of likes, a lot of subscribers, but if people don't actually believe you or find you genuine, I don't think that that's a successful business. As I don't think it's as successful as it could be. And in my humble opinion, I think that the reason why I am here today is because I do have credibility, and that comes from integrity, and that's just really, really important to me. And I hope that that comes across on the screens, because it's the truth.
Yeah, that's a really powerful statement, and it's interesting because I'm proof of your credibility. Here I have 3 products that you recommended.
Oh my god!
The Bare Beauty mascara, the e.l.f. CC cream, and the Benefit Roller Lash mascara, and many, many more sitting beside me.
This is
But that's
music to
awesome.
my ears. Music to my ears. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I love that.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's awesome that you have standards that you stand by and that you live by. And I agree that that's why you've achieved your success that you have. And I feel like
Thank you.
that's what a lot of people can learn, not just in the beauty industry, but to stand by integrity
Yeah,
throughout anything.
don't sell out. Just
Yeah.
don't sell out,
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah. So, what has your experience doing sponsored content or speaking on behalf or about a brand in your content been like? So, you know, sponsorships that are not paid for, or sponsorships that are paid for, and what are the lessons learned, and what are the rewards or downfalls?
So my experience with sponsorships has definitely evolved over the years. I think that once you're a brand new creator, they can actually be very exciting as well as terrifying at the same time, because you obviously have no idea what you're getting yourself into. I think um, getting contractually involved with someone is a very big deal, and you do have to learn how to read legal documents. Obviously, once you're a newer influencer, you also don't know like how much you're worth, monetarily. And so that can be hard too, because companies know that, and unfortunately sometimes you can get taken advantage for. And so I have grown over the years to learn like what my content, my name and likeness is worth, and also like what I'm willing to do and what I'm not. I can easily say that I'll promote a product that I love, but if I get a script of line after line after line after line that I have to say that is not who I am, that's also something that I will not agree to. So there has to be a fine line between doing what the company needs you to do to get paid, but also again staying true to yourself. And so um, thankfully, over the years, I've worked with many companies that I've actually created long-term relationships with. And so they know like what my standards are and my expectations, and vice versa. And so once you do have that, it's definitely a lot easier to get to. Some other advice that I do have for just influencers in general is just know that a contract is not like the end all be all. It's the start of a conversation. You are able to change things in a contract. You can change things that you're not comfortable with, like exclusivity and just anything that makes you feel like you're signing your life away. Just don't do it, and you might as well try to change it. Again, the worst thing someone could say to you is no. So I always try to focus on that as well. I would say the rewards to working with companies is, at the end of the day, like, this is a business. And so if you can find a business that, or a company that you trust and that values you as an influencer, and that also like your subscribers enjoy, then obviously you have work, you have long-term work that will work out. Some of the things that could go wrong is obviously not doing your due diligence to really figure out like what these companies are doing, or really if you haven't tried the product well and you promote something that isn't good, obviously that can go wrong. And like I mentioned earlier, credibility is everything to me. So I do take that very seriously. When you are starting out as an influencer and you are getting opportunities to finally make more money, it might seem like the best thing to do is just to accept every deal. But I promise you, like, your credibility is worth way more. You just have to give it time. So over time, it's better to add value to something that truly matters rather than just getting paychecks, because the money will come as long as you're putting in the hard work and you're putting out like integrity. And so that's kind of the downfall. They can look like a very shiny thing that you just want to say yes to, but I truly say no to about 9 out of 10 sponsorships that I get offered, and I'm proud of that, and I stand by that because I'm not going to say yes to just anything.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure it was a good journey learning to not let it be a one-sided conversation with these companies and
Absolutely.
contracts. Yeah.
Know your worth. You have to, there's a reason why they want to work with you. You know, they're not just offering you an opportunity. Like, there's a reason why they want to work with you, because you matter too and you have value, and you really have to be you have to be secure in that and show that, you know, there's ways to do business. You don't have to be rude about it, but you have to stand firm in what you believe and who you are.
Yes, love that. I love that. So you talked about being on PR lists and being available on websites for companies to find you and find opportunities to work with you. But how often would you say you reached out to on social media, and what is your preferred way to be contacted by for a sponsorship, brand deal, or to be offered a product
Mhm.
for free in exchange for a review, things like that?
Um, the main way that I get reached out to daily, if I'm being honest, is through email. Companies know that once you have your business email on your platforms, that's the best way to reach you. And so always have your business email in every platform, because that's just the easiest way to reach you. And so that's how I get most emails. If we're talking about my favorite way, I truly prefer to get reached out. I mean, this is very like very detailed, but I like to get reached out through Instagram, through DMs. And the reason why is because we have verification. And so once a company that is verified, that I know that is the company and their social media, when they reach out to me, it feels so much more uh, relaxing, because obviously, like, people know that influencers are getting reached out by email all the time. And unfortunately, there are people out there that are pretending to be companies. And so you do have to really be smart about the links that you're clicking. Always check the email. I always grab the email of whoever is emailing me, and I like looked up like their LinkedIn or things like that. And so to me, it's the easiest way for me to know that what I'm doing is safe is through Instagram. But I mainly just get reached out through email, because obviously a lot of companies don't want to reach out through DMs because they can kind of tend to get lost in there. But just an email would work out perfectly fine. And that's really 99% of the way that I do all of my business is through email,
Yeah, safety is really important. That is a good point.
especially with contracts. And,
Yes.
you know, when you're giving people your shipping address to try out a product, you really want to make sure you're giving it to the right person. And so I do want to say one more tip: a PO box is essential. When you truly don't know 100%, just give out your PO box. And that way you're not risking any of like your privacy.
Absolutely. That's a good tip. So, let's move on to analytics. So, how did you
Mhm.
navigate analytics early on in your career journey on YouTube? And how do you navigate analytics now to identify who's watching you?
So when I first started my channel, I definitely looked at analytics to learn how to grow mostly. It's really good to know your demographic, your age range, and just also see what people are watching. YouTube analytics will show you what other YouTubers your subscribers are watching. And so that's always interesting to see, like, who you're kind of like paired with in this community. And so when I was younger, a couple years ago when I started, I really wanted to study that to learn how to grow. Now, obviously, I still want to grow, but because I do have a good platform of 110,000 people, I am putting a lot of time and effort into the analytics to learn what they're liking. Because, you know, views aren't everything. People can click on your video but not actually watch half the video, and so that's how you learn, oh, my thumbnails are good, my titles are good, but is the content actually good? And so you kind of can study that. You can actually see what people searched to find your video. Once you learn those words that people are searching, you can kind of decide what the title should be, what the hashtags, what the tags. And so you just kind of, you have to try to think in the mindset of, if I was a viewer and I wanted to see a brown smoky eye tutorial, what am I going to search? Brown smoky eye. Okay, I'll use that as a tag. smoky eye, I'll use that as a tag. And so you have to kind of get in the mind of that. And so the analytics really do help you get in the mind of your consumer.
Nice. That is awesome. And have you noticed that analytics differ across platforms? 'Cause you're also on Instagram and TikTok.
Absolutely. Because they're such different platforms, you really have to, obviously they're all going to have your demographic and your age range. But the way that I read the analytics are completely different. When it comes to, like I mentioned with like YouTube, it's really about search. It's about average viewer retention, the amount of minutes they're watching my videos. When it comes to Instagram, I like to see how many accounts it reached outside of who follows me, because then if you're using the right hashtags to kind of get to be on the explore page, or just to get connected with people that don't follow you. And when it comes to TikToks, I truly just focus on views and likes, and now saves, because now you can also save TikToks, and that also helps put you in the algorithm. So there's obviously a lot of different strategies when it comes to each social media, which is a lot. But I will say, when it comes to my priority, it is YouTube. And so I'm really deep in those analytics right now.
Yeah, the algorithm is super strong. Recently I started watching, for example, Gilmore Girls on Netflix, and my whole Instagram explore feed is Gilmore Girls. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
definitely important to make sure that if people are searching beauty, that you are one of the people who
Of course.
appears consistently on their explore page.
Right. Like, how do you bump yourself up out of these hundreds of thousands of influencers? And obviously, that also has to do with the content that you're doing. And you do sometimes try to do something different to like stand out. I mean, it's hard, and sometimes it doesn't work. It's funny. Sometimes I post a TikTok that I think is going to get so many views, and it doesn't. And then I post something that took me 2 minutes, and it goes viral. And so I will say also some advice when it comes to that: whether you spend a lot of time or not, just make sure that everything you put out is a representation of yourself, because that could be the one video that millions of people see and they decide if they want to follow you or not. So always take every post as an opportunity, just in case.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You can go viral for doing things as simple as skateboarding and drinking cranberry juice.
Exactly.
During 2020, that was something that went
Yes.
crazy viral. So yeah, anything can go viral, which is just, it blows my mind.
I went viral on Instagram. No, I went viral on TikTok. It has over 1.5 million views for trying on wedding dresses. And that wasn't like a big video that I was going to do. I really just did it for myself, and it went viral. And that doesn't have to do with beauty, but that you can't really control the algorithm. And that's why I'm saying, like, just make sure whatever it is that you're putting out, it represents yourself well.
Yeah, lots of opportunities there to just grow without even trying. I love it.
Exactly. Yes, we love that.
So tell me about exploring the process of posting to different platforms. For example, when you expanded to Instagram and then TikTok, and what were the challenges and what were the rewards?
I think my biggest challenge so far is just going from long form to short form. I do 15 to 25-minute videos, and for me to speak in 15 seconds is really hard. I'm the kind of person that loves talking detail. And so, that has been really hard for me. And also, just I'm so used to my routine of like sitting down in my studio, creating my content. But when it comes to TikTok and Instagram, you have to kind of think on the spot when you're out and about living your life, because that's kind of more of the content that they want to see. And so I guess the biggest struggle is just figuring out how to create the content that people want to see on different platforms, and also condense all of this into a little tiny short video. But you got to do what you got to do if you want to grow. I think the best way to grow really on any social media is to cross promote. I always promoted my YouTube videos on Facebook as well as Instagram. And now with TikTok, I'm trying my best to promote me as a person, so that people will be interested enough in me to go to my YouTube channel. And you just have to get with the times sometimes. And also, when platforms are newer, it's a little bit easier to grow. Right now, it's kind of hard to grow on YouTube because it is so saturated. And so you use TikTok to help yourself grow. At the end of the day, you are your brand. YouTube is not my brand. I'm my brand. And so to try to cross promote on all social medias is going to help you the most. And it is a lot of work. It's a lot to keep up with. Do what you can without trying to, burn out. But like I mentioned, I always put my priority on YouTube, but I can't ignore all the other apps. There's just no way.
Yeah, very true. And I've noticed that a few podcasters who have like maybe an hour and a half long podcast start posting the podcast in like 3-minute clips
I
because
love those.
yeah, not everyone is going to sit there and watch the entire thing. And sometimes I find like a 3-minute clip of a certain podcast, and then I'm like, okay, I want to learn more, and then I'm going to watch the
I
whole
have
thing.
I
So,
have to watch it. Exactly. What podcasters are doing is definitely something to learn from. If I'm going to review a product on YouTube, I like to maybe do like a half review on Instagram and then say, "Hey, if you want to see a wear test, go to my YouTube channel." And so that's kind of like the same thing that podcasters are doing, is like show a little trailer of what you're doing and then bump people to the long form. And so hopefully, that works out.
absolutely, and it's true about getting with the times. For example, I'm 27, so my era was 2000, 10 to 13, learning about Instagram for the first time. But the generation coming after me, Gen Z, as they're referred to as, they're just doing it without even trying. So it's really like up to us to sit there and like learn about the thing and do the thing, and it gets
Right.
exhausting as you mentioned, just learning.
Yeah, because usually they're the one. I mean, that's the generation, the younger generation is the ones that are setting the trends. And so that's, you have to kind of study them. What I will say also, sometimes that doesn't work for me. And because I actually learned that my demographic is actually a little bit older, not a lot of young teenagers watch me. And so again, that's another reason why you should study your analytics, because you might be creating the content that you think is for your the consumer because that's what you see, but you really do have to learn your analytics, because I know what my age range is, and so I try to stick in that age range. And I'm 28 and I really can't act like I'm 18. And so it's a sweet spot of like, what's trendy, what are your demographics, and who are you, and just kind of do that and hope it works out.
Absolutely, yeah. So speaking of short form content, let's talk about Instagram stories versus posts, because a lot of platforms are trying to do stories now, and YouTube has their YouTube shorts. So what do you prefer more, Instagram stories or posts?
Well, if you would have asked me this about a year ago, I would have said posts. I love Instagram for the pictures, and I actually really enjoy make creating great pictures. But again, like, we're trying to get with the times. Unfortunately, so are applications, and Instagram and YouTube, they're all trying to get what TikTok offers. And so if you want to grow, again, you do have to kind of do what it takes to get on the algorithm. Right now on Instagram, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when you are scrolling, like, you're mainly seeing video form because that's what Instagram is pushing. And so I am posting more videos now instead of pictures. And so now, to be honest, I actually love stories more because you can post pictures and you can also be more real time. I like to use my Instagram as a little bit more of a personal way to get to know me. And so I actually get a lot more engagement on my stories. It seems like a lot of people also just want to see non-produced content, just in real time, get to know you. And so right now I think I'm more active on stories. And so I am trying to get into the algorithm. I'm also still going to post pictures because it's something that I like, but I think stories is number one with what I like, and also my engagement on Instagram.
Yeah, and I've also noticed that uh, with Instagram story posts, they can get lost in the feed because
Right.
Instagram has started adding content that you don't follow to your feed for some reason.
Yes.
That's
I
like
don't
that's
like that.
yeah. I'm
But
just like, I'm trying to find people I actually follow. So stories is actually a way to promote your posts and say, hey, I posted something.
yes. Yes, I use stories to promote my YouTube videos, my TikToks, my reels, my picture, everything. And also, if there's people that you truly don't want to miss anything, you can have a favorites list. And so if you don't want to miss your favorite creators post, put them on that favorite list, and there you can have a following and a favorites feed, and their post will always show up. So that's a great tool to use if you are a consumer, because it's really easy to miss posts. I also just put my family on my favorites. So family and my favorite creators, and I never miss a post. I love long form still, which I know might not be for everyone, but the reason why is because I personally love sometimes listening to YouTube. I do watch YouTube a lot, but YouTube is something that I can put on the background when I'm folding laundry, when I'm working out, and I can listen to it and kind of glance at it and be productive. The downfall of TikTok is that you literally have to be on your phone and you have to swipe, and you kind of just get lost in it, and that's something that you can't just put on the background. And so when it comes down to my favorite platforms, I still think long form is a great way to listen, because you can keep going on with your life without being paralyzed on social media.
What do you think your audience prefers, long form or short form content?
According to them, they told me that they still like long form. Again, like I mentioned, my age range is a little bit older. It starts mainly at like 25 and up. And so I definitely think TikTok, I'm not saying TikTok is only for young people, because I'm on TikTok. I mean, it's definitely like a quick dopamine hit. It's something that you don't have to think about. I understand that when you go on YouTube, you have to find a video that you want to watch. When you open up your TikTok, it's already there and you just kind of keep going. And so I understand that people love TikTok and it's easier to watch if you want something quick. But according to my followers that I've asked on YouTube, they prefer the long form, which is music to my ears, because that's also my preferred platform and that's truly my business.
Yeah. And I'm in your audience range, which is funny. So I also
Yes.
yeah. So I also
Growing up together.
exactly. Yeah.
We're all evolving together. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I either do what you said about putting the phone down and glancing every few seconds, or just completely watching. Like long form
Exactly.
is like perfect for either, because you can watch to get away from things you're thinking about, just like TikTok allows you to do, or you could multitask and listen at the same time. So it's perfect.
Put it on your TV. You can also put it on your TV, which
Yes. Yeah, watch it
not
like a
the
show.
same on TikTok. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. With more influencers emerging, do you ever notice a competitive landscape of influencers who are making similar content to yours?
I truly don't. And, this isn't like a politically correct answer. Like, I personally don't see competition, because you can follow me and follow someone else. Like, we're not competing for that one follow. Like, consumers can follow whoever they want. And I truly feel like in this day and age, content creation, influencers is becoming so normalized. It's becoming like almost like a career. I hear young people say like, "Oh, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up," or an influencer. It's becoming just more normalized, and I feel like if I was working in a different job where there's so many people that do the same thing that I do, I don't know if you, Hanetti, if you think people are your competition, they're really just your colleagues at the end of the day. And that's how I see influencing. I see people as my colleagues in a way, and I don't feel the pressure. I truly feel like there's just so much room for everyone. I mean, people have millions of followers. So many people have millions of followers, because you can follow however many people you want. And so because I don't feel that pressure, I don't feel pressured to do things that I'm not comfortable doing, or I don't try to be like other people. At the end of the day, I know people are following me for me, and there's only one of you. And so I don't think there's any competition when it comes to that. I think just be yourself, and no one can replicate who you are.
Yes, that is a great perspective. I really love that. And to answer your question, it is similar in marketing. In the marketing community of Sacramento, we have a variety of agencies, and I work at an agency also. So, we're sometimes we go after the same type of business to get the same clients to work with us. Other times we, pay other agencies to do work for us. So we're actually partners. So
Right.
I was in a meeting, and we were working with a different agency from mine on some earned media efforts, and the lead on at the other agency said, like sometimes we see each other as competition, but not really, because now we're partners, and we've my agency has done that multiple times. So I love
Right.
meeting other marketers and going to networking events, and I do see them as colleagues in the community. So it's just like that's just a great perspective, and I just love that you don't see them as competition necessarily.
And it's not to say that I don't have competition because I'm up here. That's not even the point, but that's why sometimes YouTubers also collaborate. Like, let's collaborate and show our subscribers to each other. If you really want to get to down to like detail, like, yeah, maybe I didn't get a sponsorship because this YouTuber, I don't know, maybe it's cheaper or they have more followers. But these are things that you really can't control. And so obsessing over that, I think, will just take you down a spiral that you don't need to. I think as long as you do the best that you can do, that's really all that you can do. And just hope for the best. And, just I think people need to be more happy for other people. You know, Somebody else getting views does not take away views from me. And so I think it's good to support people, support your fellow colleagues in whatever workspace that you're in. And influencer is such a weird workspace, but I do see influencers as my colleagues, and that's how I like to see it. And that's how it works out for me.
Yeah. And I understand what you're talking about. When like one person can watch multiple people. I actually watched another YouTuber very similar to you. Her handle is Juicy Jazz
I love Juicy
on
Jazz.
YouTube.
I watch her too.
Yeah. So for example, there'll be an elf launch for like the mint line that they came out with. So
Uh-huh.
like you'll post your product review and then she'll post it like on the same day. And I'll just
Yeah.
watch both to see like what
We're different
you did
people.
differently. Yeah.
Exactly. You're different. We have different skin types. We have different opinions. And so that's also a great way for you to know what you should buy or not, because now you have multiple opinions. You really don't need just one. And that's why it's like we're not competing. If anything, we just have the same interest, and we also have shared following. How cool is that? Like, what an honor to have a subscriber that Juicy has, because I love her.
Oh my gosh. That's just like that is so encouraging. Like I love that so much.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you so much, VNA, for joining me. I will go ahead and add all of the VNA's social platforms in the description below this video if you'd like to learn more about VNA. And I'd just like to say thank you so much for your time and your amazing insight on influencer marketing. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you so much. Yes, all my social medias, it's all Vianney Strick. It's really easy to find me. And I really appreciate you having me on here. It's my first podcast and it was very exciting. I love watching podcasts. So I'm very excited to watch more of your podcast. And thank you so much. It was really, really interesting to have a conversation about this, because I think maybe more companies can learn from the aspect of marketing as well as just like an influencer themselves. So thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Honored to have you on our podcast, and we wish the best of luck to you in your endeavors and
Thank you.
many more success on your platforms in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hannity.